Yeah. So we discussed about queries, and after that we started understanding what is a view and what is an index view, and what is that we can do with the view, and why is that you have to go for a view. All of them we have discussed. Then today we're going to understand T-SQL programming. I told you SQL is a language. Language means it has to support all language features. What are the language features we have? We have loops. We have constructs like if else. Then we have switch cases. All of them are nothing but language constructs. Okay. So like any other programming language, SQL Server should support all these language features, so that using a language you should be able to write a programs like C and C++, but not very complex programs. Very lightweight programs you can write. You can run a loop, or you can put if else statements like that. So let us understand what is that SQL Server gives us and how we can use T-SQL programming. And the first one. So T-SQL or Transact SQL supports variables. We have local variables known as user-defined variables. Then we have the another type of variables are global variables or system-defined variables. Okay, so if you want to store some data, and the data, if you want to pass it to another program or if you want to use some way, then definitely you have to go for a variable. Right? In C and C++, we use the variables. What is the purpose of a variable? When you create a variable, you can place the data in a variable. So variables are just like a carry bags. Why is that you use carry bags? Carry bags you use to carry some kind of a item or some items. If you want to carry, then only we'll think of a carry bag. Otherwise, nobody will think of a carry bag like that. If I want to carry some data from one place to another, one program to another, one function to another, then definitely you have to go in for variables. So variables are used to carry the data. Please understand this point. What is the purpose of a variable? Variables are used to carry the data. So we have two kinds of variables in SQL Server. So the first variable is known as local variable. The second variables are known as global variables. Okay. Now after that, we'll discuss about if and else. Then the third feature is loops. So SQL Server does not support for loop. It supports only while loop. Please, make a note of this. SQL Server does not support for loop. It supports only while loop. Then already we discussed about case statement. Case statement is some kind of if and else. So if expression, then print something. So then apart from that, we have if you want to print, you can use print function. Print function is simply printf, which is there in C language. Okay, if you want to print some constant, you can go for it. Then you should know how to concatenate the data. What do you mean by concatenation? If I have two strings, how do I concatenate the strings? Or if I have some columns, how do I concatenate two columns? For example, if I want to concatenate first name and middle name and show it as full name, how do I do that? So all of them we have to learn using concatenations. And if I want to convert data from one format to another, for example, I would like to convert string data to integer or integer data to string, or if I want to convert datetime data to string, string data to datetime, then we have two kinds of functions. One is cast and convert. And then the temp tables Microsoft is providing to us. So to store tables temporarily, we have two kinds of tables. One is local temp tables, global temp tables. Then there is a statement called return statement and raise error function, and exception handling is also beautifully given by SQL Server. So we also going to use that. Then the last one is go to statement, which is a deprecated feature. What do you mean by deprecated? Deprecated means going to be removed. So it is almost not used feature. Don't use this feature. Okay. So all these we are going to discuss today and tomorrow. If you know these features, you should be able to write programming. So now you know how to get the data from a query, but you don't know how to, after getting a data, how you want to carry the data from one place to another. For example, when you write an application, the application needs only one part of the data. So SQL Server get the data in a variable, give that variable to .NET, or give that variable to mainframe, give that variable to SAP, give that variable to Java, like that. So when you place the data in a variables are nothing but a carry bags. So that you can easily move data from one place to another place, or one application to another application, or one program to another program. Okay. So let us understand how we can use this. So let us discuss about local variables. The first point is these are created using at the rate symbol, and the second point is these are removed when the connection is closed. That means whoever is connecting the variable, when they close the connection, the variable is completely removed. That's what we're trying to understand. Then whoever created them, they can only use, but not others. So if you create, only you can use them. That means it is only for you. For example, if Shravan is creating a variable, only he can use it. If I am creating a variable, only I can use it. So not the others. So it is completely restricted to that user. Global variables. So how do you define or write a variable syntax? Syntax to create local variables. Now, the syntax is using declare keyword, declare. You have to use at the rate symbol. That's what I told you first. These are created using at the rate symbol. Okay. So you have to use at the rate symbol. Then you have to provide variable name. Then after that, you have to provide the data type. Now, for example, I have given you declare salary. Salary is the variable name. Then this is the data type for you. Okay. This is how you should be able to declare a variable. If you want to declare another variable, you can declare. There is no issue. So declare. So I am declaring another variable called name. Say name is varchar say 100. Okay, like that you should be able to declare variables. Okay, if you want to declare a data birth variable, then declare. So DOB means data birth means date time. Okay, na? Like that you should be able to declare a variable. So once you declare a variable, what happens in that? Let us understand in the pane. So when you declare a variable, SQL Server will create a dabba for you, a box for you. Okay. Now you are declaring a variable like this. So what is that you say? Say declare at the rate x is integer. That is what is your variable you have declared. So when you create a declare at the x integer, then the name of the variable is at the rate x. The name of the variable is at the rate x. And what do you mean by this? X is the variable which is capable of storing integers. That is the meaning of this. Declare at the rate x means what? Declare at the rate x integer means at the rate x is the variable which is capable of storing only integers. Okay. If somebody says, I am declaring a y, okay, declaring at the rate say y, and we say date time. So what is the meaning of this variable? You tell me. This meaning of this variable is at the rate y is a variable which is capable of storing only date time values. That is the meaning of this. Okay. So when you declare, you need to also understand in the English. So how is that you need to tell others so that they can understand easily. Declare at the rate x means at the rate x is a variable which is capable of storing integers. At the rate y is a variable which is capable of storing date and time values, like that. Now, by default, you won't be having any kind of a value because at the rate x is a blank. Or if I create at the rate y, at the rate y is also blank. So now this is at the rate y. Now the name is at the rate y here. This is also blank as of now. But how do I store values in at the rate x? So if you want to store value, this is the syntax you have to use it. So you have to say set at the rate x equals to say 10. This is the value. So when you say set the rate at the x equals to 10, then 10 will be placed in this. Okay. When you say set at the rate x equals to 10, then 10 will be placed inside this box. Okay. So variable is a box or dabba or carry bag. That's what I told you. Now, what is at the rate y? At the rate y is a variable which is capable of storing date time values. Now let me store some values here. So set at the rate y equals to, we have to provide the date time in single quotes, say 2010 slash 12 and 22. We can also provide date. How do we provide the date? Space 10 hours, 23 minutes and 45 seconds. 1, 2, 3. We have hours, minutes, seconds. You have milliseconds like that. You should be able to store your data. So entire stuff would be given here. So it says 2000 bar 12 bar 23 slash 10 23 then 45 dot 123 like that. It will store entire date value here. Okay. So now let me create another variable for you. What is the variable I'm going to create now? Declare at the rate name, which is supposed to take where char or character, say 100. So what happens if I declare a variable, immediately one more dabba will be created. So this is the dabba. The name of the box would be at the rate name symbol. Here you will be able to, by default it will be blank. If you store your values, how do you store values? We have to use set command. Set at the rate name equals to say Bhaskar Jogi. Okay, like that you should be able to store your data. Okay, now here Bhaskar Jogi would be, okay, will be stored. So that is how we have to understand. Okay, now if I stored Bhaskar Jogi in the name variable, can I change the value? Yes, you need to write one more set statement. If I want to write set, so I'm writing set at the rate name equals to Ravi. If I say set the name equals to Ravi, what happens is now Ravi is replaced by Bhaskar Jogi. Now what happens? So when you declare a variable, the box is created. When SQL Server sees this, it will place Bhaskar Jogi. When SQL Server comes to set at the rate name equals to Ravi, then it will remove Bhaskar. So the entire Bhaskar is removed. Now this will place what is known as Ravi here. What is the moral of the story? A variable can store always a single value. Okay, variable can store always a single value only. You cannot store multiple values. Variable can store always single value. It cannot store more than one value. So that is the learning here. So variables can store always a single value. Now set at the rate x equals to n, set at the rate x equals to 10. Now I am putting another variable here. Set at the rate say x equals to say minus 23. Now what happens is that 10 will be removed from here. Then you will be placing minus 23 in this. Okay, that is how we have to understand. So always when declare a variable, box will be created. When you come to this one, always the execution will happen top to bottom. So set at the rate x, 10 will be placed, then it will come down. Then set at the rate x minus 23, it will remove 10, it will place minus 23. Okay, so all these are examples where you can okay, so string set at the rate name plus r minus Ravi. This will give you a syntax error because name is a string column. You cannot perform arithmetical operations on it. Okay, so definitely it will give you the issue. But the same thing, work with the integer fields. Okay, concatenation is not like that. I tell you. Okay, but let us understand that also. Now I'm opening, so I'm saying declare at the rate x integer. So set at the rate x equals to say 1, 2, 3. Now how do I see them? If I press F5, you will not be able to see. Now how do I see? You have to use select at the rate x. So this is how you should be able to see the value. Or you can also use print. If it is not this one, you can also use print. Print simply say at the rate x. Now, the difference between select and print is this. Print will give you like this in message, select will give you in a table. Okay, so that is say select at the rate x as number, you can say like that. Okay, so what is x? X is a variable now. X is a variable now. Okay, now set at the rate x equals to say I'm putting some big value. Now, what is the x value? The box will be created, then it would have placed 123, then it will place 389. Then when I execute this, what happens? I'll get 389. Now let us see. I'll get 389 only. So always the last number would be given here. Okay. Now if I put the value here after printing it, then I'll store another value. Now what happens? Now what happens? It will come and put 120, it will come put 318, it will print that value. Then after printing, it will modify the value. Then let me print. So you will get both numbers now. So you will get 389 and 444 also, you should be able to get it. Okay? Now, like that, you should be able to declare variables. So declare at the rate name, say varchar, say 100, set at the rate name equals to say ready. Okay. Now it will not be able to, you will not be able to see the data. How do you see the data? You can use either print or you can use a select command. So name I am using select. So or you may use select also here. There is no issue for you. Okay, select Ravi as my student. Like that, you should be able to give any kind of a value here, or you can also say print. Okay, but when you're using a print, the as command will not work. You have to be very clear. It will give you an error now. Okay, when you use a print, as command will not work. As command will work only with the select. So this will give you an error. See, now it is not able to understand. So when you use print, you have to always use like this only. But if you want to give as student name, that will not be able to give like this. Okay, there is another type. We will definitely see that. Okay, now whatever name is there, to that name I have to put Kumar. So that's what Venkat was asking. So I have to put Ravi Kumar. So set, okay, equals to or plus equals to R. That's what. Okay, so let us understand whether it works or not. If it works, then concatenation is working fine. Otherwise, this kind of commands are not supported in SQL Server 2000. Okay, let us check. And SQL Server 2008 5 also, which is not supported. Now let us understand whether what is the meaning of this. Whatever name is there, to that name you add Kumar and display finally. So let us understand. Fine. Okay. So there is no issue. So this is meaning means name equals to name plus Kumar. So what is the plus symbol here? Plus symbol is used to concatenate the strings. Okay. concatenate the strings like this. So this is whatever name I have a Ravi plus Kumar you have to add it. You need to give the space here so that you will get very good. Okay. So like that also you should be able to get the data. Now let me give you one more thing which is working. Okay. This kind of syntax is equivalent to either like this or simply you say plus and equals to plus and equals to. Okay, this is also known as the previous command. This is equivalent to this. So name equals to name plus Kumar. So first this operation is carried out. What is this operation? Name plus Kumar will be concatenated and these two will be stored in a name. So if you understand, so let me give you in clear cut picture. What is the meaning of this? When I say when I say declare at the rate name, say varchar 100. Now what happens is when I say declare name varchar 100, now one box will be created. So this is my box. Okay. What is the name of the box? Name of the box is at the rate name only. So that is the box name. Now let me insert some value. So I'll put set at the rate name equals to say Ravi. Okay. Now immediately what happens? Immediately the Ravi is placed in this. Ravi is placed in this. Now I am giving another command. What is another command? I am giving set at the rate name equals to at the rate name plus in single quotes I am putting a Kumar there. Okay, now I'm doing some kind of a concatenation. What is the concatenation here? Concatenation is plus. You know what is the meaning of this? Here, two operations are performed. What is the first operation? First operation is this. This is number one operation. This is number two operation. So what is the number two operation? What is the number one operation also? Let us understand. Now, whatever be the name, that name plus Kumar will be added. So in RAM, it will take the name. So what is the name we have it here? The name is Ravi. So the same name would be copied and the concatenated with the Kumar. So name is Ravi plus Kumar is also added in the RAM separately. Now the entire Ravi Kumar will be replaced. So this is one is concatenating is first operation. This operation is this. This is the first operation. This is performed. This is the first operation. This is performed. What is the second operation it will do? Second operation is you take Ravi Kumar and replace with Ravi. That is what is set at the rate name equals to name plus Kumar. So the first operation is at the rate name plus Kumar. So whatever be the existing name that you take it, then you add Kumar to that. That is the first operation. But if you add, that is separated in somewhere here. Okay. But this you have to take it and keep it inside your box. So what happens now? When you say this command will get executed now, this is the command, this will get executed later. So what is the meaning of that command? That command is you take the value from here and you, okay. So this is the first command. First command will give you, this is the first command. This will give you whatever be the name, that name plus Kumar will be added. So that is stored in a RAM separately. Now, the whatever you have, that name, entire name needs to be stored here. Okay, that is the second. Okay, so whatever value you got it here, that value, entire value needs to be stored here. So this is the second step you need to understand. Clear? Okay. Now set at the rate name equals to at the rate name plus Kumar means we have two operations. What is the first operation? Whatever be the name you have, name plus Kumar will be concatenated. Then that will be replaced with the existing name. Okay. Na? Let me give you one more example. declare at the rate x is integer, then set at the rate x equals to 20, then print at the rate x. Okay, not one. Now if I say simply 40 here, I'll get 40. But my meaning is don't do like that. Whatever be the existing value, to that value add say 100. So now you have to write x at the rate x and again at the rate x plus 40. What do you mean by this? Whatever be the existing value, to that you add 40. So you will get now the existing value is 40. Now you will get, the 40 plus 40, 80. The 80 will be stored inside this one and you will be able to get 80. Whatever be the value here, for example, I have minus 40 here. Now minus 40, 40, I need to get 0 like that. Or if I have minus 50, I'll be getting minus 10 like that. Whatever be the value, to that value, if you wanted to do some kind of a work, then you have to use like these commands. Set at the rate x equals to at the rate x plus 40. Clear? So like that, you should be able to declare variables like this. Declare at the rate name or date of birth is equals to say date time. Now set the rate date of birth equals to, you have to provide some date 2010 say 10 say 22, then nothing would be displayed. Use print or select. Print at the rate DOB. December 22 2010 12 MB. If you don't give anything, it will take midnight value 0000 means midnight. Okay, so this is how we have to understand. All these things are called local variables. So how do you say local variables? When we have single command, then which is a single at the rate symbol, this is a local variable. Please carry on. Okay, now let us understand here we are not using any database, we are not using any table because here we are simply, showing something. Declare at the rate dev means we are not creating anything in the database which simply goes to RAM. Try to understand. So no database, no table, no SQL server here. The whatever the command which you have given here, this command directly will hit RAM by the SQL server. SQL server will create a dabba there, box there. Clear? And SQL server next statement will get executed, and this SQL server again will go to RAM and put the data. Go to RAM and gets and prints it. That means when I close my session here, SQL Server will not get the values because which is not stored in a table. So whatever I'm showing, all of them are temporary. So all of them are there in the RAM only. So which is not there in the table. Table is permanent. So which is not a permanent. All of them are only in the RAM, not in the table, not in the database. You may be in bank database, you may be in master database, but nobody cares. These will not go to any database. These will not go to any table. These will not go to SQL Server first. You have to be understanding. SQL Server, all of them, SQL Server takes and keeps it in a RAM of the Windows or of your laptop. Okay. So when you close the session, SQL Server will close its applications. So Windows operating system will remove all these things. So all of them are not, stored as part of the SQL Server. Is it clear? Manju, good question actually. Okay, so which are not part of any database, which are not part of any table, which are not part of SQL Server at all. Even though SQL Server is executing, SQL Server will not keep all these values inside SQL Server, which will keep all of them in a RAM. That's it. Okay. Not even temp.db. Even though it may use temp.db, but when you close it, everything will be removed. Okay? Not even temp.db, which you need not keep it. Okay? Nothing can be stored in temp.db. Now, as of now, this is not the purpose of temp.db. Okay? So this will not. So like that. These are completely temporary. That means when I creating this, when I close, I will not be able to get it. Right? So now I have declared a variable called this one. So let me open new query. New query means new session. And simply printing here. Will this work? The answer is no. Because I have declared here, but I'm trying to, print it here. So this will not work. Only it will work only here. Okay. If you want to create there, then all this syntax need to be created separately here. So now what happens? This is a separate dabba, this is a separate dabba, this is a separate dabba which is using for this. And this is separate dabba which is using this. Even though the names are the same, but two variables created separately inside your RAM. So this variable is one box and this variable is another box. But you may have same kind of names. Don't think that because if I'm storing say 22 here, so let me store 27 here and it is good. You get 27 here. Okay, and if you go to this dabba, you'll get 22 here. So these two dabbas are different. Okay, now we have to be very clear on it. So, which is the local variables? Local variables are created using at the rate symbol, which are available only to that session. Which is a session? When I click on a query, each query is one session or each query is for one user. So one user, when he is working on the data, always he can see his own data and he can only declare a variable. He can only display the data of his variable or her variable. That's what you have to understand. It's clear. Now the next one is global variables. So what is a global variable? Let us understand. Okay, so one more before going to global variables, using variables with queries. For example, how do I use the variable with a query? So I'm saying declare at the rate ACAD equals to integer and set some value. Okay. Now I'm declaring a variable. Declare at the rate account ID. You may give any number at the rate X integer also you can say, but X means nobody would understand the meaning. So ACAD integer. So select star from a master table here at the rate ACID equals to at the rate ACID. Now for this ACID you have to provide some value. Set at the rate ACID equals to 101. So what happens? So in wherever you have at the rate ACID, that will be replaced with 1001. So here it will come, it will replace with this value and this will get executed. Now we have 0 on the okay, like that. So let us understand F5. Now if you press F5 also, what is happening? So 101 is Anushka. If I say 102 or 103, let me see, will I get 103? Yes, Oscar. Or put 105, you should be able to get 105. So using variables, you should be able to get this. Okay. So using variables with queries and matter. Okay. Like that you should be able to get the data, but this is you're supplying value to it. Can I supply one more value? Yes, for example, name should account ID should be this, and which should be having one more value. For example, let me say I have at the rate BRID is what character char say 4. Okay, now here we're talking about BRID, character means single quotes, say BR3 values I would like to get it. So here I need to put what? ID equals to at the rate VR8. Now if I execute all VR3 customers, I should be able to get it. You can also include one more thing. What is that? Declare one more variable. So I'm declaring another variable called product ID, PID, which is character 2, and set at the rate PID equals to only savings bank customers I would like to have it. Okay. So what is that? I have declared two variables. I am passing like this, and PID equals to at the rate PID. So that means what? The branch ID must be BR3, product ID must be SB. You will get only SB. FD accounts, RD accounts will not be able to give you the answer. So you have only pure SB customers and pure BR3 customers. You may provide chain BR4 here and SB, or BR4 and fixed deposit accounts. Like that, you can also give more than one value. Okay, like that with queries, you should be able to use your variables. Instead of putting star, you can also put whatever be the columns. For example, I need name, I need alone. Clear? I need only this one like that. Clear? Okay. Now let me give you one more example. So what is one more example? So declare at the rate ACID integer and set at the rate ACID equals to 102 and ACID equals to at the rate this one. Okay, now I'll give you Akarshan and Anushka. Or you may also keep all your stars. Or I'll give the number. I need to get the clear balance. C balance I would like to get it. So what is the clear balance of 102? Clear balance is 30/200. This one I would like to send it to some other application. If I want to send something, then definitely I need to keep this in a dabba. So for the I need to declare a dabba first. So declare at the rate say balance. Balance is money, and this balance is empty box now. This balance you have to keep it here like this. Now what happens? Whatever be the balance you're getting, that balance will be placed inside this dabba, and that you have to print it. Otherwise, you don't get it. So you have to say print at the rate balance now. Balance is like that. So you should be able to use variables in the here and here, but here you have to keep it in the left hand side, here you have to keep it in the right, because whatever be the value, that value will be jumped into this. So whatever be the value, that value will be jumped into this. Okay, so like that you should be able to get the values like that. Clear? You can also get, for example, you need name also, so we have to declare another name. So declare say name. What is the varchar 100. Now, for example, you need name and balance. First, we have to execute and see whether everything is correct or not. Okay. Now, I'm just removing it as of now. So, which is giving me Akarshan and this one. So, but Akarshan, I want to put it in name. So, we have to say at the rate name equals to this. Then here you have to take this at the rate balance. So, here you have to come and put at the rate balance equals to this, and both of them will not display. We have to use print now. Print at the rate name, and again print you have to say at the rate. Okay, so you cannot say simply with comma, this will not work. We have to be very careful with this. So this will give you a syntax error. Okay, So you have to give for each and everything you have to use again separate print like this. If you need to use only selects for the select, there is no issue. Select this one, comma this one. So there is no issue. For the select, there is no issue. But print, there is a problem. So name as what? Customer and as balance. Okay, like that you should be able to use select or the name. Clear? So this is what is a simple variables with queries. Now let us understand what is the second one, global variable. Global variables. Let us see what is that people are talking about. These are variables given by SQL Server. That means you need not create, already SQL Server created for you. These variables are created using at the rate symbol. So you have double symbols. That's where you can understand this is a global variable. These variables are already declared with values. So the box is created, the variable is declared, and there is a value also in the box. So you need not worry about the value, you need not worry about the variables. All of them have been declared, and these are read-only variables. That means what, we cannot modify, we can only print or select. That's it. You cannot modify, you cannot do anything else. So these variables you can use to retrieve some kind of information from SQL Server. For example, the first variable is select at the rate version. It stores SQL Server version number. For example, if somebody comes and asks you, hey, what is the version you are using, Manjunath? Then you have to say SQL Server select at the rate version. So let us see what is the version we are using. So this is the version we are using. Or we can also use print. Right. So now this is the version we are using. What is the version we are using? We are using Enterprise Evaluation Version SQL Server 2008 R2. If somebody asks, are you using 2012 or 2008 or 2005? Which is the version you are using? You have to write this command. What is the command you have to write? Either you have to use select version at the rate version. You will simply, this is the complete version. Or you may go for print at the rate version. So at the rate version is a global variable which stores SQL Server version number. If tomorrow your boss comes and asks you, tell me the version number of yours. So you can easily using this command, you should be able to get the answer. Okay, like what is the server name here? What is the SQL Server name we are using? Then that's why we have to use at the rate server name, which returns a name of the SQL Server instance. So let us understand what is our server name. Our server name is home PC. Okay, so this is how we have to then copy paste this command, give it to your boss. So, sir, I'm connecting to this server. Okay, so what is the command? At the rate, single word. There is no server space. Single word. You have to be very careful. All these are interview questions. Okay, server name. Good. So, at the rate SPID, it returns process it. This you don't need. So forget about it. Then this one is very, very important. Many times people have asked questions in interview. So at the rate identity, it returns last inserted identity value. Okay. Now, if you have identity column, you should be able to get the value. For example, I told you about identity value, right? What is identity value we're talking about? Automatically numbers are inserted. For example, I have account ID, then I have account name. This is identity. I am inserting one, so not you. I am writing some A here. Automatically number would be inserted here. So I am writing something here. Automatically number inserted here. So what is the latest number? Latest number is 2. So this is identity column inside your table. So when you have identity column, if somebody asks what is the last inserted identity value, so if you say select at the rate identity, you will get 2. This is interpretation. Is at the rate identity will give you. You have to say. So wherever you are in the database, if you have identity table, in that last inserted identity value will be given to you. Clear? Now, this is also very, very important. At the rate error. It returns 0 if previous DDL or DML statement is successful, else returns non-zero. Okay, for example, when I'm writing something, either DDL operation or DML operation, if I'm getting 0, that means the previous execution is successful. If I'm getting non-zero, means previous example is not successful. Okay, now there is a small command which we can use it. So use iBank database is a command. So what is the table I'm using? Say A master. So let me execute this. So when I'm executing this is successful, it is able to give the data. So when you select this, you will get 0. You will get actually 0. So let us see. Now you get 0. That means the previous example is successful. You are able to get the data, but there is a spelling mistake here. I am putting something here that definitely this command will get failed now. So if it's failing, it will give you some non-zero. Let us understand what is the number. So it is giving 208. Don't go for the messages because of this, and go for the results. So you'll get, it is giving a number non-zero. Non-zero means the above statement is not successfully executed. So that's what. Okay. Now, how do you know you are sitting at say US? I am sitting at say Hyderabad. So US people, when they execute the command, how do they know that all of the commands have been executed successfully or not? So when they give the command, they'll get a 0. So when they get the 0, that means this is working perfect. This could be a select, or this could be insert also. So insert into say a master values. If it is failing somewhere, so then you should be able to get any value. Okay, so either this command values also you should be able to provide dot. Okay. Okay, then this command is successful, you will get 0. If it is failure, you will get non-zero. Okay, so that is at the rate error. Like that, there are plenty commands, plenty. Okay, select from wrong table name, you will get non-zero here. Okay, then this is also many times people have asked in interviews. What is that? At the rate row count. Row count is a single word. It returns the number of rows affected by the previous DML. Insert, update, delete, select operations. So select from account master, print row count. Let us understand how we can use that. Now, for example, I am getting some values. So select star from say a master. Statement will give you some number of rows. How many rows we have? The count is total 62 rows. You can also see the total rows are 62. Now this will give you what is this? Select at the rate row count. Row count will give you number of rows retrieved or inserted or updated or deleted by the previous statement. Okay. Now let us see how many we have. Total 62 rows. Okay. Now I'm writing some command here. So update account master table, set C balance equals to say 2000 rupees, where C balance is less than. I don't know how many rows will get affected because of this. Wherever C balance is less than 3000 rupees, you have to make it to 2000 rupees, whatever be the reason. So this is the comments. So after executing this, I would like to know how many rows have been affected, or how many rows have been modified. Then you can use this. So press F5. So actually 19 rows have got affected. So after doing this operation, the operation is this got updated to 19 rows. Okay, then the last statement is this. So this is actually affected to these many rows. So like that, we should be able to get how many people or how many have customers got less than 3,000 rupees balance. Further, we have to update it to 2,000 rupees. Okay. So it could be insert, update, delete, select operations. So this is also interview questions. Many times people have asked. So we'll stop for the session today here. So that tomorrow we'll discuss. One more variable we have at the rate fetch status. It returns 0 if fetch is successful and non-zero. So this we're going to discuss about in concepts. Okay, you have many variables. So select, when you say select and use at the rate, all these are, global variables. So please, connection, CPU busy, date first, and all of the other fetch status, identity, idle, IO busy, language, all of them. But all of them are not required. Microsoft version, Nest level, options. Then there are plenty. All of them are called. So we have used remote server. REM means remote server name, row count, server name, service name, SPAD, text size. There are plenty version. Okay. So all of them, if you want to understand, you can understand. You can go to anytime, go to help. Here you have, contents. Click on content. So you will get installed books online. You can type any kind of a query, then you can understand. All of them are available. For example, you would like to, understand about tables, or if you want to understand something, you should be able to get all the topics here. Tables, queries, everything. Queries, everything are here. So this is the best book for you to buy. You need not buy, already it will be there. When you install SQL Server, this will be available for you. So you can simply go to search, type a command. For example, you would like to understand what is at the rate server name. Command does. So press enter. Okay. Use online or use local. Use local help. First time you're using, so use local help. Okay. So which is giving you some kind of. Okay. So go to search, which is not displaying properly, but in your computer you should be able to get. Okay. So SQL Server setup sets the server name to the computer name during the installation to change the name of the server. Not that. So SQL Server will give returns the following local variable name and information. So like that, it will give you the example also. Okay, so like that you can understand and learn. All these are very very beautiful things available with SQL Server. Go to help and go to contents, or you can go to start all programs. Then go to SQL Server 2008 R2. Then we have documentation and tutorials. So click on this and we have SQL Server books online. So open this books online. If you want to study something about a primary key, simply go to primary key and say understand what is a primary key. So you simply type it here and you should be able to get lots of that. Okay. So creating a MyDBM, primary key. You can, if you want to get a syntax, if you want to understand some concept, everything available. Here you will get topic by topic. Here you will get a search database engine. So getting started. So overview, development. So how to create a table. Everything will be here. Okay. So data tier, semi-structured, spatial, data, querying data, modifying data, DML operations, user-defined functions, stored procedures. Everything will be here. Okay, procedural T-SQL, control flow, all of them are available here. Okay, so you need not buy any book. How to inserting data into, updating, deleting, all of them will be query fundamentals. Everything you should be able to read. Okay, so tomorrow we'll discuss some more. Any questions? So Venkat is asking me, aggregate functions will work here. The aggregate functions also will work here. There is no update. There is no problem. But we'll discuss that tomorrow. Any questions, guys? ठीक है, thank you.